Okay, that's you now installed that. Now for any of the components to actually work, you need to hook them up to the power supply, which is this unit here. From the power supply itself, you see there's a big spaghetti factory of cables coming from it. So, first of all, what we'll do is we'll hook up the motherboard, is essentially that's the most important component. This connector here is known as a P4 connector or CPU power connector. This supplies power directly to the CPU. So that connects to the corresponding 4-pin connector here. You'll notice that there's a latch cut out at the top, and again the connector can only go one way so that this clip locks on. So push in like that, and that's you again installed that. Next we should do the motherboard 24-pin, like such, which again can only go in one way. Let's push from that. Okay, that says now put all power connectors into the motherboard. Now what we need to do next is connect up the peripherals as such. So since we've got a new DVD drive, it needs SATA, so you want to use one of these SATA connectors here, which is the SATA power connector. Again, can only go in one way. Let's plug that in like so. And then what we want to do is we want one Molex connector for this optional fan at the side here. So I'll plug that in. And then just kind of route the cables so that they're not going to interfere with any fans. And then just because this power supply's only got one SATA connector, and obviously we need two for the SATA hard drive and the SATA DVD drive, we've got one of these adapters which basically turns one of the Molex connectors that we used for this fan into a SATA connector so we can power this also. So first we'll plug that in there, and then we'll grab one of the Molex connectors and just plug that in. Okay, that's that done. Then we'll need data cables for both the DVD drive and the hard drive, which is one of these SATA cables here. Can only go one way. So what we'll do is we'll just pop that on here, and then we route it down to the corresponding port on the motherboard. Now as you notice here there's 4 SATA connectors. It doesn't actually matter what one you put it into. It would only matter if you were actually doing a slightly more advanced thing like RAID with hard drives, but just for connecting general peripherals it doesn't matter what one you use. But just for simplicity I'm just going to use the first 2. And there. Then do another one for the hard drive. Okay. That has now connected all the power connectors for the motherboard, CPU, hard drive and DVD drive. Now, the only thing we've got left to do for the PC to actually be able to turn on is connect the front power connector cables here. For this purpose as well, these are the audio connectors, but since this is just a test system, what we'll do is not bother with the old cables, we'll use new HD audio. So if you look on the motherboard, you'll see these here will be marked USB, that's for the USB ports in the front. So you look for the cable with USB on it, and then there'll be a missing pin on the connector, and there'll be a pin missing from the port, so you just turn it around that way, and it can only go on one way. Next we'll do the audio, which is HD audio, which will be here. Next, the most important is actually the power button on the front of the case. So what we do is find the one that is power switch, which is power SW. On this you'll see this connected here is where all the power button and then front LEDs get plugged into, but every single motherboard's different, so the best way to find out how to hook these up is to actually look in the manual that came with the motherboard to see exactly where they go. Which you then see from this manual here, this is that connector that's on the motherboard, and it's telling you where every one of those little connectors go. So what we'll do is we'll start with the reset switch. And then the power switch. Next, what we'll do. Next, it is the hard drive LED. That is now fully assembled the computer, so it will fully function now. Just before we do power it on, we just want to make sure we've got all the connectors in. Let's see, that one there's popped off, so we'll just pop that back on. There we go. That's in. There, we've connected it up, and then the last thing we want to check is just that no wires are going to interfere with any fans at all. Then all we do is we take the power cord, plug it in the back of the unit, make sure the unit's turned on, and then that's you correct.